What's up, everybody? It's Dono. I got a question basically asking me to talk about how I feel when people say stuff like hip hop is garbage or hip hop is dead. So, the very first thing that I want to tackle is the difference between hip hop and rap. Hip hop is a broader cultural movement that has, like DJing, graffiti, b-boying, rapping all packed within it. It's a cultural movement. Rap is the actual act of rapping, right? It's the music. It's the actual art of putting together words in a rhythmic way. So I'm not gonna talk a whole lot about the state of hip hop, mostly because I am not super well versed in it. I'm not a great person to tackle that subject. I am, however, very deeply involved on the rap side specifically, so any answer that I give is specifically relating to rap music and rapping. The first piece of the question that I want to tackle is when people say that rap music is garbage, right? It's always really funny to me when people have these opinions like rap sucks, it's terrible, it's horrible. It's basically the equivalent of me saying country music is horrible, country sucks. And while it's true that I really don't like country music, I would actually never ever pick to listen to it. It doesn't mean that the music itself is bad, right? It's the equivalent of someone just saying, hey, this is not my preference, right? Like, it's just a more emotional way of conveying your opinion, so it doesn't really mean anything. In the same way that I don't understand country music well enough to really break it down and appreciate the art that's inside, a lot of times I feel like anyone who says that rap music sucks basically just doesn't have an appreciation of the art or understand the pieces, as well as it's probably not their preferred style of music to listen to. On top of that, there's only a certain subset of rap that you hear if you're not really into rap. So if you don't, really dig down and try to look for other artists, you're only going to hear what's on the radio. So they only have a small piece of what's actually out there. Same goes for me listening to country music, right? I only hear what's popular most of the time, so that's really the only subset that I have to pull from. There might actually be some country music that I like from a more obscure artist and a more obscure subgenre, but I don't know because I've never really dug into it that deeply. I get the same feeling when people just say, rappers suck. All right, so now let's talk about another big topic that's kind of in the same vein, which is this big rise of mumble rap, right? That's the dominant genre right now, the most popular genre, and a lot of people are saying rap's dead because everyone is just making this style of music and that's what's popular. Now, mumble rap doesn't appeal to me at all either. I'm a very lyrical person, but the interesting thing to me is this isn't a new phenomenon, right? The exact specific style of mumble rap is a little bit new, but there has been lyrically weak music being played on the radio for a really long time. There's always been club and party hype type music that's just intended to get people kind of pumped up and amped that has really poor lyrical content, right? Like off the top of my head, I'm thinking like Soulja Boy. I hated that crap, and I've never really been into any of that stuff that's really heavy on the party scene. Now, that being said, it doesn't mean that the art of rapping is dying. It just means that what's popular often isn't super lyrical. You find this in a lot of other genres as well. The lyrics aren't super prominent. Now, rap gets a little bit of a worse time because there's so much emphasis on the lyricism. So maybe we can dig a little bit deeper than the 10 songs that you hear on the radio on repeat 500,000 times a day to look a little bit more at what's going on with rap as a whole. Now, honestly, I actually think rap is more alive than ever, and that's because of the ease of access that artists have to making music. It's never been less expensive to start making music, right? You can almost just start making a song on your phone. Like, the quality is not going to be great, but we just have so much more access to technology to produce music that the state of rap, I think, is very, very strong because we can get so many more artists into the mix, whereas before, costs would have been prohibitive, so people that wanted to start making music but couldn't afford it would have a hard time doing so. On top of that, we have all these sites for sharing music. So not only is it easier to make music, it's easier to promote music. And in addition to that, it's easier for audience members, listeners, rap heads to get the type of genre that they like, right? They can niche down into the specific subgenre that they're looking for way easier than they could in the past. So now there's just a lot more rap music being produced that you can source through and pick from. Another point to consider is that rap is continuously evolving, and that's something that should point to it being alive. Mumble rap is new in its specific form, but it's not new in the sense that it's not lyrically deep, right? And it's not new in the sense that rap has continually been changing since it was first created. The rappers, even the highly regarded ones like Kendrick Lamar, don't sound anything like the first rappers that started this craft. If anything, it's indicative that lots of people are making music and the craft is finding ways to adjust and change. So no, I don't think that mumble rap is going to be the end of it, right? It's going to mutate into some other lyrically weak bumpin' type of style of music while other artists are still making great lyrical content. And maybe we'll swing back around to a time where lyricism is highly regarded, but right now it's kind of on the back burner to some of the other stuff like the musical quality, right? Something that will play well in clubs. But again, that's always been a thing. There's always been music that the lyrical quality hasn't been super top notch, and it was mostly just played in clubs. It wasn't meant for the serious hip hop heads who really love wordplay to sit at home and kind of bump to. Now, some people are going to argue that it's been evolving in a way that it just gets lower and lower quality, but it's all subjective. It goes back to the country music thing, right? If you don't look at the full subset of what's being produced and you only select out a couple different songs, then yeah, of course you're going to be able to say, look at the quality, it's really dropped. But it's all a matter of preference. So you have to be able to find that subgenre that you're really looking for. And like I was saying, where we're at now, it's much easier to do so than it was in the past. So I don't really think that those types of comments have a whole lot of weight behind them. I think they're just kind of lazy, emotional things that people say to try to get a reaction, right? They just say it because it sounds heavy, right? Like, rap is dead, or because the specific style of music that they prefer isn't what is most dominant on the market right now. But it really isn't indicative that the art as a whole is dying. As long as people are still creating rap music, then rap is alive and well. That's all I've got for this video. As always, if you have any questions, comments, topics you want me to cover, throw them down in the box below. I've also got a full 30-day rap course. I have a link down below, and I've got a website, rapbetter.com, that'll have some extra resources for you. And that's all I've got. See you next time. Don't forget to subscribe so you can stay up to date on the videos, and if you have any questions, comments, or topics you want me to cover, leave them down in the box below and I'll get to them as soon as possible. See you next time.